All right, so that was his first move in this article, was to create this equivalency between the people on the left and the people on the right in terms of populism, and to erase the fact that we have fundamentally different worldviews. We just agree that the system is broken. And then his next play was that this system is really controlled and should be controlled by elites. And so therefore the global elites should rise up against the ignorant masses. Now, I know that title. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because I know that title was just meant to get people to click on it. All right, you win. Everybody click on it. Go read that article. But here's the problem. You cannot use the language of class warfare from an elitist position and expect the masses, the proletariat, to not clap back and be ready for anything that you suggest. Anything. In short, they don't want it with the proletariat. They don't want it with the masses. They don't want it with the working class. They don't want it with people who are broken by the system, because there are far more people who are left out of the system who then will ever be elite. And their only hope for survival politically would be on the backs of the wannabe elites. Those people who don't realize they're being screwed over by this system. Those people who think that their little $100,000, $125,000, or $150,000 a year really makes them elite. Nah, baby, it's a good chance you might die broke. It's a good chance you won't have a whole lot to leave your children. It's a good chance that one generation removed from your good salary, your children and your grandchildren could be in poverty, be born in poverty and die in poverty. You're not making that much money to be an elite. But you always have that bourgeois petite, right? You always have that group who believe that their salary that they have to work and exchange their labor for is somehow going to be sufficient to make them elite because they can live a quasi-elite life. That is the only hope for political solvency for the elites, if they actually want to, quote unquote, rise up against the quote unquote ignorant masses. It's the people who are wannabes, because the rest of us, the overwhelming majority of the world, let alone America, just the world, America, let alone the world. Gotta put my measurements in order. The majority of Americans are middle class, working class in poverty. It's a fundamental flaw of the system. And so if your solution to political outcomes that you disagree with is for you to rise in opposition, and I'm assuming there's talking about political or economic opposition, if your solution is to do that, then you're going to have a serious problem on your hands, because there are just too many people who have been screwed by your system. So I'm going to chalk this article up to being a frustrated elite who sees and correct about the divisions, the fissures that are taking place, the divisions that are taking place in the political parties, and frustrated about the fact that neoliberalism, our people are overwhelmingly rejecting it on the left and the right. And it's just amazing that people on the right think their solution is more austerity and more neoliberalism. They're rejecting neoliberalism with more neoliberalism. That's the most imbecilic, oxymoronic thing I've heard and seen in a long time. I get it. But he's frustrated. James Traub is frustrated because the ignorant masses have risen up. Why not get frustrated with the broken system? Why not actually admit to yourself that the elites have screwed the entire world? While they have been so busy gathering all of the wealth to the top 1/10 of 1%, and the rest of the world has been screwed, the problem isn't the ignorant masses. The problem is the broken system that has been built on the back of the masses, some of whom, particularly Donald Trump supporters, I would agree, are ignorant.